Uh, Hello, duelist, and welcome to the King's Court. I might as well give a quick warning, I guess. My voice might get a little, my voice might get a little scratchy here, and I'm really sorry. So, I just need to, I gotta be honest. I wasn't even sure if I was gonna do this video, but the other members of the channel really convinced me, and here I am. Okay, so usually in our videos, I try to be, I'm usually a pretty optimistic person. I try to be, but this is a more, you know what, screw it, I'll just say it. This is going to be the most I've ever opened up on the internet and the most personal video I've made, honestly, in the last 2 years. I try to keep my personal life, away from the internet, but my personal life is involved with this because I really need to get this out. So, just sorry for in advance if anyone feels, I don't know, I guess if I sound a little too sad, I'm sorry. So, this is going to be a personal video, like I said. And it's going to be on the subject of why I love heroes. Now, there are a lot of reasons. Don't get me wrong. I am a GX fan. My name, I've never hidden my first name. My first name's Isaac. That's why everyone calls me Supreme King Isaac. That's why I use this stupid made up ping image I use here because it just makes me laugh. And I've always loved GX. And, that's one of the big reasons I love the hero archetype so much. Uh, I am a superhero fan ever since I was a kid. Batman is my favorite. But, that's not why. So, to give a little backstory, now, you gotta understand. I grew up in a very, very, very dangerous ghetto. I grew up in a very volatile area. There was, I know YouTube doesn't like these words, but screw it. This video is not about subscribers, it's not about followers, it's not about likes, not about any of that. It's just me getting this out. I grew up in an area surrounded by drugs, violence, guns. So, things were difficult growing up. But one of the constants that always kept me out of trouble, because I've seen a lot of people get involved in certain lifestyles and stuff like in those kind of areas where let's be real, a lot of people wouldn't even make it out of their 20s. One thing that kept me out of it was, Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Dragon Ball, those have been my biggest obsessions since I was a kid, and they still are. But Yu-Gi-Oh has been one way for me to meet new amazing people and just, like I've said in my video talking about having hobbies as an adult, it's what allows me to relax. To some people it may seem childish, but to me, it's my escape, and I love it. Now, growing up in this area, I didn't leave that part until I was around 11. 10, late, borderline 11. So basically 10. So, yeah. I was around when I was in I want to say I was in 4th grade, I believe, is where GX came out. I was just blown away by the elemental heroes. They were just so cool. They were just amazing, and I had to have them. I didn't have a lot of money for cards. You know what I mean? I was a kid, especially in that kind of area where, the only cards you could get were from the ice cream man. But I managed to get lucky and get a few from trades from people I knew. But that's about it. It wasn't until around that times where I met someone very special. At first, now I won't use this person's real name because their family is still alive, so I'll just refer to them as GT. Me and GT didn't get along at first, but what got us to start getting along and start vibing because I managed to move out of that ghetto area when I was around, like I said, around 10. I moved to a area that still wasn't the best, but a lot better than where I was. We were neighbors. He lived down the street from me, and he was the only real person my age that I could get along with. And by that I mean talk to, because everyone else around me was honestly, I just couldn't really vibe with them. I didn't have a real friend till I met him because, like I said, at first we didn't like each other. But I'll admit back then I was a little, confrontational around new people. But as soon as we got to know each other, we realized we both love Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. We collected the cards and everything. And one thing we loved to do was just play the game for hours on end. And the deck I played was, of course, Elemental Heroes. His favorite was Dinosaurs. He had the Dinosaurs Rage structure deck, if I remember right. And he honestly, I'll just say it. He helped me get all the cards I had. Having cards was a luxury, honestly. So I didn't have a lot of money for them, but he would always help me out. He helped me get the first hero structure deck. He helped me everything. He got me the Elemental Hero Plasma Vice tin for my birthday years ago. I couldn't ask for a better friend. I mean, yeah, we would still argue once in a while, but that's just, young young boy mentality. Come on, any young man, any guy watching this when you were young, you probably know what I mean. But we were always friends. And then when I was 12, when entering middle school, because he was a year older than me, so he was a grade ahead of me. I entered middle school and I met channel member Michael, and from there, the three of us became inseparable. We really did become brothers. Sorry. And then eventually, I met channel member Miguel. Now, GT and Michael went to different high schools. Me and Miguel went to the same high school. But I still kept in touch with them. It was difficult back then because, yeah, there was MySpace, but none of us really were into that, and I didn't get a phone till I was already in my 20s. So that was difficult, but we managed to keep in touch. And we always all talked about Yu-Gi-Oh! It was always one of the constants for us. And of course, heroes were the main thing for me. I also did try playing a Yubel deck, but Yubel didn't work back then. It was just mostly a Fiend beatdown deck. I played like Giant Germ and stuff like that, but that's not the point right now. The point is, heroes were always the main focus for me because they always helped me, especially GT, because he knew how much I loved them. I remember once when we were playing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Spirit Caller DS game, which he got from me because I couldn't even fucking buy any game back then. I remember one day he came to my door and asked me to help him with a level where you have to help the game's in-game Jaden build his hero deck, and he asked me because he said I was the best hero player he knew. Because there were a few others that we met over the years, but he always came to me because I always knew the most about heroes, and he would ask my advice all the time. And that memory still always rings with me. Some years pass by, we're still keeping in touch, and college rolls around. Now, I didn't start college at the same time GT and channel member Michael did. I had to wait a little bit because I had some personal life stuff I had to take care of. But that's where it happens. By the time I had that stuff taken care of in the summer before the next semester would start, GT got sick. I didn't know what was happening until Michael told me what happened. He was taken to the hospital because He was feeling really sick all the time, and his parents didn't know what was wrong. And then, by the time I found, but after he told me, I found out he had contracted a rare cancer. And by the time he found out, they already told him he was at risk. He had to get a couple different surgeries, a couple of which could have been dangerous. And then, after a little while longer, during my first semester at college, he told me he was feeling a little better. So I thought, okay, great, he's going to be able to come back. We're going to be able to go to college together, just like we always wanted. And he did a little bit, but he was still getting sick during class. And then Michael told me what his parents told him. He was in the hospital, and the doctors only gave him a couple of weeks. And when I was told that, I just broke down. My best friend, my brother, wasn't going to be around anymore. My mom had to set me aside. And she had to tell me I had to be strong for him, because what he was going through was unimaginable. I can't even think of that. So, one day in December, he told us what was happening. He'd been released from the hospital because the doctors just gave him about a week left if he stayed in the hospital, but he decided he wanted to be around his family. So immediately when I found out he got out, the next day we were going to go see him. And then I woke up. Michael came to my room, and he was crying. He told me he was gone. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't see him. My brother, my best friend, who helped me get through some of the hardest times in my life, who showed me, my first real friend, what it was like to care for someone who wasn't related to me by blood, but loved me just as much, was gone. And so, a couple of months go by, and we finally put him to rest. The last time I got to see him was when we were talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! And Heroes. I was I wasn't playing Heroes that much, but he was trying to convince me to play the deck again. And that's why I still play Heroes now. Because every time I play the deck, every time I play Heroes, it just brings me back to those old times. And it's like he's still there with me. I know, I know Heroes aren't the best, most powerful deck. I don't care. I'm never gonna stop playing Heroes. Forever. When I'm an old man, I'll still have them with me. Because those memories that they hold never go away. Because, like I said, every time I play Heroes, I play Neos, any of them, or when I just look at the old vanillas, because I still have some of the cards from all those years ago, it just makes me think, this reminds me of him, and it keeps me going. And the reason I'm talking about this today, because today, December 4th, is the 10-year anniversary of when he passed. Like I said, this isn't about followers, subscribers, none of that. All I want to say is that Yu-Gi-Oh, card games, all of this stuff, it's not about the cards. It's about the people you meet. And thanks to this game, and thanks to this one specific archetype in a game, I managed to have the greatest friend that anyone will ever have. And I'll always remember him until it's my time. I'll never forget him. So, I don't know how to end this. All I'm going to say is that whoever you are watching this, thank you so much for hearing me out. I just needed to get this out. Thank you so much for watching. And cherish the people in your life, because the memories you make with them will last forever.